Relativity Media should look to fire whomever was in charge of the promotion of the Snow White update, Mir Mir. This movie turned out to be a fairly delightful, enjoyable movie, with fun performances and great scenery, despite what you might have seen from any advertisements showing this to possibly be one of the worst films of the year. The plot follows the classic fairy tale for the most part, with the beautiful Snow White being born to a king who passes away, leaving her in the care of her wicked stepmother. The queen's servant can't kill her, she ends up living with a specific number of dwarves, and there's a happily ever after. Mir Mir does play with the story a little, having the princess save the prince, dealing with the discrimination towards the dwarves, and a final twist involving a very fun and clever cameo. For the most part, however, this is Snow White, and there's nothing wrong with that. The movie's greatest triumph is in its inventive visuals. The thieving dwarves are given bouncy stilts, the queen uses giant magical marionettes, and the castle is rendered beautifully. These playful, inventive touches help illuminate a plot we've seen time and time again, whether specifically through the tale of Snow White or any other princess in distress story. Director Tarson is famous for the visuals in his previous movies, The Cell and The Fall, and here he brings those ideas to a mainstream comedy. Besides the aforementioned dwarves, the movie's best performances come courtesy of Julia Roberts as the evil queen and the Social Network's Armie Hammer as the dashing prince. Roberts especially seems to be having a great deal of fun, letting loose a campiness that never goes too broad. Hammer sells some pretty rough material, including an extremely dumb puppy love subplot. Luckily, he has as much charm as any prince in this sort of story should, which isn't the case often enough. I could go into detail about the very lackluster nature of the script, Lily Collins' only all-right performance as Snow White, or this being the upteenth time where Nathan Lane does nothing but be Nathan Lane, which is a bit grating at this point. But given how wretched we all presume this movie to be, and considering it is aimed at children, I'd say Mir Mir is worth the price of admission. If you're looking for something to bring your kids or little siblings to, this is a perfect choice. It's not a great movie by any means, but Robert's performance and some stunning visuals make it one of the more fair live-action kids movies of them all.
I gotta agree with you for the most part because I thought it was gonna be a horrible movie. I was not expecting to like it, but the visuals are awesome. Yeah. They never grew old for me, definitely. But I don't think it was that funny, and that's where I wish it, I don't know, I wish it did something else. I wish it was funnier, because they try and have funny parts, like where Julia Roberts is getting ready for the ball, and they're like, the bird is like pooping on her face, and she's rubbing like a mask like of his poo like on her face to like exfoliate her skin, and it just wasn't funny. And I don't know, maybe because I'm not a kid, like a little kid, but even if I was, like, even the little kids there weren't laughing, so I don't know what they were trying to do with that. Yeah, I definitely agree that it wasn't as funny. I thought the dwarves were pretty funny. I thought they were pretty good actors. But I think part of it was just, I try not to go into movies with any preconceptions, but it was hard not to go into this movie thinking this is going to be terrible. Yeah. Like the trailer is one of the worst trailers I've ever seen. All the promotional material was terrible. And so I guess just the fact that it wasn't a disaster made me go, oh wow, okay. The plot was a lot more creative than the trailer made it seem like it was going to be too. And I liked how they didn't, like the dwarves weren't called grumpy and sleepy and all of that. And that was nice because I was like, okay, like this is gonna get old. And she ended up saving him, he didn't save her. So they did do different things with the plot that the trailer didn't lead on to. Right, yeah, I think, I mean, like I said in the review, I don't know why they chose the angle that they did, because they marketed it as basically a comedy, which it wasn't. Right, it was pretty boring. I mean, it was pretty plot driven for the most part. The humor in it definitely wasn't its like best aspect. Yeah. So I don't know why they chose to market it like that. But I mean, I thought it ended. You know, there are very few good live-action kids movies. You know, there's Pixar and there's plenty of good animated ones, but as far as live-action kids movies go, it's rough. So for one to even be like enjoyable is. Oh, all right, yeah, go see it. And I think I was just expecting more humor. I was expecting more like Shrek than it. I don't know, just from the previews and stuff. But can we just talk about the music video at the end, because that was weird. Yeah, it was weird, but I really enjoyed it. Yeah. So I mean, I think it was an enjoyable film, worth seeing. No, I think it's definitely worth the price of admission. Yeah. Please check out our reviews and other celebrity interviews at frequencytv.com/POA. Also be sure to subscribe and leave a comment and let us know what you thought about Mir Mir.